Well, here it is. The single dumbest feature of any of my computers. Tuxedo still has a floppy drive. Why in the world have I kept putting floppy drives in my systems, even though a long time ago floppy drives basically went obsolete all over the place? Who knows? But much like VHS tape, it's time to say goodbye. Let's do something about this, shall we? Now, I haven't used floppy disks as a primary storage medium in a long time, not since high school actually. Beginning in college, I noticed when I went for my orientation tours and whatnot that my college actually had zip drives on all the computers, so I made sure to have one on all my computers too. I used external zip drives at my original HP and then switched to an internal zip drive beginning with the Silver Bullet and any other machine that I built afterwards. Here's my old Zip 250 drive from way back in the day, parallel ATA, piece of junk. I basically stopped using zip drives after graduating. You know, they're basically like floppy disks, only bigger. They had all the same hassles. I had a few zip disks die on me during college, so never really had much of a reason to keep using zip drives after I graduated. Plus, around the time I was getting out of college, flash media was becoming more affordable too, and eventually I got my first card reader. Yeah, I can't really see it anymore, but this is a GE. I got it in a grocery store, therefore it was royally overpriced. Yeah, word to the wise, don't buy electronic stuff in grocery stores, because any slow-moving SKUs in a grocery store are probably going to be marked up all the heck, and it's going to cost way too much for what it is that you're getting. This thing worked fine until SDHC cards came out and I had to search for another card reader. So here's the Rosewheel card reader that I've been using for all my SDHC cards. But, you know, it's good to be able to lug one of these around. Well, lug is probably an overstatement with something this light. It's been good to transport one of these around and plug them into various computers to read off of SD and SDHC cards, but I think it's time that I actually installed a permanent card reader in my system. Now, most reviews of card readers that I've been reading on Newegg have been hit or miss. People have either really liked them or they've really hated them. They've either lasted very long or they've barely even lasted. I hope this is one that actually lasts a pretty decent amount of time. This is AFT ATEC Flash Technology ProGear XM5U multi-card reader that goes in a 3.5-inch drive slot. This is what I hope will replace the floppy drive on this machine once and for all. So let's see what we've got to fiddle with here. Once again, not much for unboxing. Matter of fact, I worry that someone might have tampered with this before it left Newegg. Little slip case, and then the box pops open, and here we go. Not much to write home about. The drive, the screws, the instructions. Time to say our tearful goodbyes to the last rounded cable, the floppy cable, that I've ever had in this system. So, this is what we have to work with. Basic front panel thing with a light and a USB port. Otherwise, it's shaped like a drive, and it's got a little internal USB plug thing coming out of the back. Let's get it hooked in and see how it works. And there it is, all installed. Matches the color quite well. And for my future reference, the third set of holes going from the front of the case. Yeah, I got this wrong a couple of times and the thing jutted out of the case before I finally found the right setting. But we set that up, comes out the back, and then it plugs into a free USB or frontal USB jack on the motherboard. So let's put this thing back together and see how it runs. Okay, first boot with the new thing plugged in. I'm already concerned because this light's on. Ooh, that is a bright light. I don't want that on 24/7 when there's nothing going on here. We'll see what happens. Now on a floppy drive, that used to mean that the drive was installed upside down, but the USB connector on this thing is keyed. You can't plug it in the wrong way. So let's see what we've got. First boot up without a floppy drive in this machine, ever. I wonder if I'll have to go into the BIOS and disable something. Oh, we had a drive that didn't detect. I think we're going to be missing a drive. The AHCI screen only flashed 2 drives instead of 3. So, got that. There's got to be a way to disable that light. I do not want a big bright blue light on when I have the machine on or off. Okay, so here we are. Let's set these back to... Yep. Okay, this is loaded. And it's already detecting. That's good, but how many drives do we have? definitely missing a drive. There should be an additional drive that's a mirror of this drive. We'll have to see what cable got knocked loose. So let's put this thing in here, and then continue without scanning, open folder to view files. There we are. Yep, there's the pictures from the digital camera. Alright, so I close this, and then I turn that off, pull that out like that. Alright, let's shut it down and see if the light turns off. Shut down. See if the light shuts off and the machine's turned off. Okay, why is it not... Why does Steam always slow down the shutdowns on this thing? Oh, there it goes. Does the light shut off when the computer shuts off? Ah, good. So it is just kind of controlled by the power supply. Data connector was loose on the bottom drive. Okay, I've tried pulling out the power plug and plugging it back in to see if it's a soft on thing with this card reader. Looks like what happened last time was just some freakish little whatever, and the light does stay off when the machine's turned off. But when we turn it back on, light comes back on too. So, got myself a second power light here. Alright, let's start this up. There's that. I want to see 3 drives on the AHCI initialization screen. There they are. There we go. Alright. Welcome to the future. Computers with no floppy drives. Like that's futuristic, I know. And we are back in business. The drives are all properly labeled as CH and I, and the removable drives are now all set to the various types of cards on here. Now, one thing I am concerned about, though, is that the drive letter for my SD card drive has now changed, so I'm going to have to go into my sync program and change the sync patterns to point it at the correct drive for any backups that go to a flash card, or an SD card, I should say. Otherwise, finally, it's about time I got a computer that had a decent replacement for a floppy drive. Let's try out the front USB. Yeah, here we go. A USB card reader plugged into the USB port on a card reader. How many drives are we up to? All the way up to drive P. So that's drive C through P used up. I'm gonna run out of letters here. And everything's all set back up. Drives are all back up and running, and this thing is history. Interesting, August 2007 for a manufacture date. Nice. Well, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, blah blah blah. I'm done with floppy drives on this thing. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.